Thinking about becoming a plumber, but don't know where to start? I've been there. And today, I'm breaking it all down step by step. Number one, understanding state license requirements. Now, every state has different plumbing regulations. Now, you need to check your state because I know in Texas, first of all, you have to get registered as an apprentice. You need to fill out the paperwork, pay the money, and go ahead and get an apprentice registration card. You're not supposed to be allowed to work on a job without that. So if you are working for a company that's maybe not got you registered, it's something you want to think about because this is what helps you book your hours, document your hours with the Texas State Board of Plumbing Examiners. Now, each state has a different AHJ, the authority having jurisdiction. In Texas, it's TSBPE, the Texas State Board of Plumbing Examiners. Get online, search them out, go to the licensing and registration page, get the form that you need, fill it out, and submit your money. It's not hard to do. Now, you'll need to put a plumbing company name down that you're trying to go to work for in order to get that registration. Now, if you're part of a local trade organization, maybe a PHCC, maybe a trade school, maybe your high school actually teaches plumbing. That is something that we're doing now in Texas, which I think is phenomenal. They can help you do the things to get that registration. You want to make sure if you're working as an apprentice, you are registered so your hours are being documented. That's going to help you when it comes time later for you to apply for your journeyman exam to get your actual plumbing license. Number two, finding an apprenticeship. Now, most states require plumbers to complete an apprenticeship under a licensed professional. Now, there's some really good tips to find an apprenticeship. First of all, contact a local plumbing company directly. If you know of a plumbing company in your area, and I always tell people, think about what kind of plumber do you want to be? Do you want to be a commercial plumber, a residential? Do you want to do new construction? Do you want to do service? Do you want to be union or do you want to be non-union? There's a lot of questions you need to ask. Actually, there's a link on the top right corner of my YouTube channel that will ask you these. It's a free mini course, but it will help you figure out the answer to these questions because you need to know. Do you want to work on big high-rise buildings or do you want to work on homes, maybe apartments? You could even do industrial, but I would recommend learning new construction or service first. And do you want to work in a union? You have better benefits sometimes. You might make better money, but also there's a lot more requirements. So you've got to look at these things and ask yourself what you want to do. But if you're just wanting to get into plumbing, contact a local plumbing company directly that is doing the kind of plumbing that you want to do. Once you figure it out, that's going to make that easier for you because now you know possible companies that you could go to work for. Another thing to do is network with plumbers in Facebook groups or at trade shows. Now, I know you're probably not going to be going to a trade show looking for a job, but if there's one in your area and plumbing is something you're interested in getting in, that could be a great place to go hang out, get in, see all the new tools, materials, equipment, and technology, and actually get to meet some plumbers there. A lot of times you'll run into me there. You'll run into other social media plumbers because we go to these things. This is where we network, we hang out, we meet, and we do cool stuff together. Now, number three, trade school versus on-the-job training. There's an opportunity for you to go to school and learn plumbing. Now, I used to be an instructor in the union, and I think that was a great thing. But when I started plumbing, I did on-the-job training. Luckily for me, I worked with some of the best plumbers that I've ever met, and I still think that to this day. Now, there's trade school pros, faster education, structured learning, and sometimes you can get certifications by going through these programs. Now, there's also on-the-job training pros, hands-on experience. You literally probably get to start working with tools, with materials, with equipment even faster. On-the-job training, you get paid while you learn. You get paid from the beginning. If you go to a trade school, you're going to pay for that. Now, there's also cons to each one. Going to a trade school, that's a big con. You're paying for it. You're not getting paid. You're not making money. On the job training, well, if you work for an open shop company, there may not be good benefits. There may not be great pay, but some of them do have those. So look around and be very specific, very picky when you're looking for a job. Because to be honest, both paths work very well. And really, it depends on how you learn best. Do you learn best by putting your hands on the tool and jumping in and doing it? Or do you learn well by sitting in a classroom, gaining education? And if you're in the union, you really get both ways. You get to work during the days where you're getting the hands-on training, and you go to school 2 nights a week. So figure out what is the best way for you to learn, what is the best opportunity for you in your area, and go after it. Number 4, preparing for the journeyman exam. Now, many states require an exam to get a journeyman license, and there's different topics to study. You've got to understand the plumbing code. You've got to understand pipe sizing and definitely safety regulations. Me personally, I got to tell you, I love the plumbing exams. I love the fact that when I took it, it was always in Austin, Texas. It was like a rite of passage. You drove down to Austin, you got a hotel room, you spent the night, you woke up the next morning, and you went and took an exam. Now, me personally, I use the UPC study guide, and I've got a unique way that I use it. And if you search my YouTube channel, you'll find out what all that I do. But the good thing about it is I always went down early the day before, checked into my hotel early, went and got a good dinner, and came in and studied. But I had studied for months getting ready for these tests. I never just waited till the last minute. So go look at what I did to study, and I promise you, if you do it the way I did, you'll do really well. But go to bed early the night before, get up that morning, eat a breakfast, do anything and everything you can to be mentally and physically prepared for this exam. Don't just go down unprepared and think, hey, I'm going to walk in, I'm going to pass it no matter what. Now, number 5 is becoming a master plumber and starting a business. Here's what's cool about that. I decided later in my life that I wanted to become a master plumber and I wanted to start my own business. Now, I know people that knew that from the very beginning. When you're first getting into the trades, have an idea of what you want your career to look like. What is the end game for you? Do you want to start a business? If so, maybe trying to become the very best apprentice, very best journeyman, foreman, superintendent, anything at all, you want to become the very best because that's the kind of business that you want to have. Now, journeyman can work independently, but becoming a master plumber allows you to pull permits, hire employees, and start your own plumbing company. There's a lot to it. There's a lot of things that we don't know, and I've actually put together courses. You look around, you'll find them. But when it comes to running a company, it's not just you and your family you're trying to feed anymore. You've got to feed the families of everybody that works for you. You're going to have to learn a lot of new things. So remember, when it comes to starting up a business, you've got to determine your name. You've got to make sure you have your licenses in place. Insurance is a big deal. Make sure you've got not just the minimum, but enough to cover you in case anything happens. And you've got to know how to make that phone ring. That can be one of the scariest feelings there is. Because like I said, you're not just feeding you anymore. You're feeding all these families that work for you. If you're serious about plumbing, start searching the apprenticeships out today. And I would love to have any questions down here for what your thoughts are. What is it you're afraid of? What are you afraid of about getting into the trades? And if you're already in the trades, why haven't you started your own business? Is it something you want to do, or is there something in there that's holding you back? And remember, once you subscribe, hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on anything.